For the first time, customers won't have to wait in long lines or travel to the Apple Store to buy their iPads. Apple is allowing their customers to order the iPad online and have it delivered directly to their home. The thousands of people that gathered here today are hoping that their voices get heard. College students around the country are waiting to hear the outcome of the healthcare vote. While many colleges like American do offer students healthcare programs, some don't know what they're going to do after graduation. DC residents are not too happy about the extra charges, but city officials say the program is working. Residents have greatly reduced their use of plastic bags, and the city has raised almost $150,000 towards cleaning up the Anacostia River. Once you get through the traffic and the crowds and finally get to the tidal basin, the cherry blossoms are a beautiful sight to see. Good afternoon, I'm Caitlin Gart. A picture-perfect day all along the tidal basin. Tens of thousands taking in the sights of the cherry blossoms in full bloom.
It's beautiful. I love the cherry blossoms.
Whether you're traveling by car, bike, or even being pulled along in a wagon, getting to the cherry blossoms can be somewhat of a hassle.
The metro was really crowded, but it was okay. We knew where we were going, and people just followed us.
National Park Service says about 1 million people will attend this year's festival, but that isn't stopping some people from having their fun.
We just walked down because it's a beautiful day and wanted to sit by the water, and might go paddle boating in a little bit. Real touristy.
And the perfect day for it. Not quite the dog days of summer yet, but just right for hanging out and enjoying the scenery. While others took the time to relax, volunteers were still hard at work.
We are walking around, reminding people not to climb the trees or pick the cherry blossoms, just so that we can preserve the trees. They're really old and we don't want them to die.
After a full day of taking in the more than 3,000 cherry trees planted along the basin, any traveler would be worn out. Once you get through the traffic and the crowds and finally get to the tidal basin, the cherry blossoms are a beautiful sight to see. Caitlin Gart, District Wire News, Washington.
Ready, set, go!
When you hear the words penalty and fumble, most think of football. But not these grade school students. Here at Jacobsville Elementary in Pasadena, Maryland, speed stacking is the sport that has kids jumping for joy. The elementary school held a sports stacking tournament for students to compete to see who could stack plastic cups the fastest.
So what you see behind me are teams that are actually competing head-to-head, just like a running race, one person against the other for the best time and the least number of infractions.
With such a fast-paced sport, it's no surprise that mistakes can happen.
There's 4 types of fumbles, and the person has to fix the before they can get to the next stack. You can't have 2 hands at different stacks at the same time, and that's mainly what you catch.
Many of these speed stackers have perfected their times.
For the cycle, 6:56. My best time in 333 is 2.51.
Others, though, are working at getting faster. Though not every student will stack up, the fastest will leave with first, second, and third place prizes.
And I got my second place ribbon for cycle head-to-head.
Critics argue that stacking cups is not active enough, but fans of the sport say the opposite. Ritu Dang encourages her boys to stack not only for the competitive side of the sport, but also for the not-so-obvious benefits.
In terms of focus, maybe, reading is where I've seen some improvement, I think, that might have to do with stacking.
Stacking can start at any age.
I have a 2-year-old daughter that stacks, and I probably will bring her up to stack.
The most important thing for stackers to remember, if at first you don't stack up, try again. Caitlin Gart, District Wire News, Pasadena, Maryland. Elections in the Sudan are being extended for another 2 days. The Sudan Election Commission says it wants to make sure that everyone gets a vote. Election monitors are complaining that voting hasn't even started in some parts of the country, and that some voting stations have been moved without notice. This is Sudan's first multi-party election in a quarter century. It will determine whether current President Omar al-Bashir wins another term. Al-Bashir is under international indictment for war crimes in Darfur. The countdown is over, and Apple fans worldwide are now finally able to get their hands on Apple's newest product, the iPad. Take a look. Thousands of protesters took to the streets in D.C. and other cities around the country to demand the U.S. get out of Iraq and Afghanistan. Russian investigators are blaming human error for the crash of a Polish plane that went down near the Smolensk airport in western Russia this weekend. Polish President Lech Kaczynski was killed, as well as other political, military, and religious leaders on board. There were no survivors. The flight crashed on the way to a memorial service. The weather was bad, and the pilot attempted to land in dense fog. It wouldn't be March without the madness of college basketball. It was upset central this weekend, with number 1 Kansas falling to number 9 Northern Iowa in the second round. Number 12 Cornell shocked number 4 Wisconsin. 14 seed Ohio embarrassed the 3 seed Georgetown. Villanova escaped a first-round upset in overtime from 15 seed Robert Morris, but their luck ran out when St. Mary's defeated them in the second round. The Sweet 16 begins Thursday with many unpredicted matchups. If your bracket isn't shot now, then you are one of a kind. That's all the time we have for today. I'm Caitlin Gart. Tune in next time for District Wire News.